Imagine this. You're standing in a room full of people who seem perfectly comfortable with one another. They laugh at the same jokes, repeat the same opinions, move in the same rhythms. You smile when expected, nod at the right moments, say the socially correct thing. From the outside, you fit in. From the inside, something feels fundamentally wrong, as if you're slightly out of sync with the world, like a radio tuned just off the main frequency. It's not arrogance. You don't feel superior. If anything, you feel strangely alone. Not because others reject you, but because the conversations never quite reach where your mind naturally goes. You notice patterns others overlook. You hear the unsaid beneath what's spoken. You feel questions forming that would make the room uncomfortable if voiced. So you swallow them again and again. And a quiet question begins to haunt you. Why do I feel like a foreigner in a place I'm supposed to belong? Here's the paradox no one warns you about. Intelligence, real intelligence, not the performative kind, doesn't always lead to confidence, admiration, or social ease. Often, it leads to discomfort, to doubt, to a sense of being misaligned with the rules everyone else seems to accept without question. You're told that being smart is an advantage, that insight brings power, that understanding the world should make living in it easier, but your experience suggests the opposite. The more you see, the harder it becomes to pretend. The more deeply you think, the shallower everyday interactions can feel. The more aware you become, the more invisible you feel. Why does clarity come with isolation? Why does asking better questions make belonging harder, not easier? You start to notice something unsettling. The world rewards simplicity, certainty, and speed, but your mind moves toward complexity, ambiguity, and depth. While others find comfort in shared assumptions, you feel constrained by them. While others bond over consensus, you sense the fragility beneath it. And while others seem energized by constant social interaction, you feel drained, as if you're translating yourself into a language that can't quite carry what you mean. So, you adapt. You learn to simplify your thoughts. You hide your curiosity behind humor or silence. You shrink parts of yourself, not because you're ashamed of them, but because you've learned they don't land well. People look at you strangely when you push too far, think too long, question too deeply. You're told you're overthinking, that you should relax, that not everything needs to be analyzed. But what if analysis isn't your problem? Avoidance is theirs. What if the discomfort you feel isn't a personal flaw, but a signal? A sign that your mind is wired to notice contradictions most people survive by ignoring. There's a particular kind of loneliness that comes from seeing the cracks in things others treat as solid. You sense it in social norms, in career ladders, in definitions of success. You notice how often people say things they don't believe, chase things that don't fulfill them, defend ideas they've never examined. And you wonder, am I missing something? Or am I seeing too much? This is where the tension sharpens. Because if you're wrong, if your sense of being out of place is just insecurity, then the solution is simple. Adjust, conform, blend in more efficiently. But if you're right, if this discomfort is the cost of awareness, then adjusting would mean betraying something essential in yourself. And that's a frightening possibility. Because it means the world may not be structured for minds like yours. It means ease and belonging might be distributed not by depth of thought, but by willingness to accept comforting illusions. It means that intelligence doesn't just illuminate truth, it isolates those who see it too clearly. So, you stand at an invisible crossroads. One path leads to fitting in by numbing down, learning when not to think, when not to question, when not to notice. The other leads to standing apart, not necessarily alone, but awake in a world that prefers sleep. And still, the central question remains unanswered, pressing harder with every social interaction, every quiet evening, every moment you feel subtly misaligned with the collective rhythm of life. Why do intelligent people so often feel out of place, not just socially, but existentially? To answer that, you have to look beneath personality and circumstance, beneath culture and coincidence. You have to uncover the hidden psychological and philosophical forces that shape this experience, forces that don't just explain your discomfort, but reveal what it's trying to protect you from. And once you see those forces clearly, you can never unsee them.